Hello friends, and welcome to another episode of What's Cookin'. My name is Lissa. I am the owner and soap chef here on this channel, where we make all things with a rather good lather. In today's video, we're going to be making a new soap today that I haven't made before. It's going to be part of my Boozy Bubbles collection because I have a couple of events coming up at the end of October that have to do with wine and beers and brews and all the good things adult related with beverages. So I'm going to be making some of that kind of stuff momentarily. But before I do, and because we're going to be making soap today, I thought I would skip the positive affirmation today and just talk briefly about Lye Safety, because we're going to be working with some sodium hydroxide, which is caustic soda. And we need to be safe about that. There's a lot of different types of people who watch all of us as a community, all of the soap makers, you know what I mean? It could be your personal friends, it could be your family, your neighbors. It's absolutely your customers of varying different ages, in particular children. They're really excited about what we do. They want to learn about what we do. They think it's fun. What we do, which it is, but we also need to make sure that we're following proper safety measures when we're working with things like this, so that we don't get injured ourselves and so that we're not portraying bad information to the public who is watching our videos. So I made some bullet points over here so that I can keep on track and try to keep this brief. So regarding Lye Safety, to begin with, first of all, if you're a seasoned soap maker, so you know, it's easy for us to become a little bit too comfortable and even complacent perhaps when we're working with Lye, because we've been doing this for a long time, and so maybe we get a little bit lazy at times, and maybe we don't want to put on the goggles every single time if we're not filming. Maybe we don't really want to put on our gloves and wear our long sleeves and long pants and clothes. You know, maybe we don't want to go through all of those things. Personally, I do it every time, all the time, period, regardless. If you are one of those people who's thinking along those lines of getting way too comfortable and becoming complacent and thinking that you don't need to wear these things, you know, I'm not filming, nobody's watching me, I'm not posting anything up on the internet anywhere on my YouTube channel. I don't really need to wear my goggles today because I know what I'm doing. I've made this soap a million times before, and I'm always really careful. If you're one of the people who are thinking like that, you guys, please don't think like that, okay? Stop thinking like that, really. We don't need to fear sodium hydroxide, but we need to respect it, you know what I mean? And we need to put forth information to whoever is watching. I just listed a whole bunch of different avenues, which I don't think a lot of us even think about. A lot of us think, oh, it's only soap makers that are watching my videos, that are tuning into my channel. No, it's not. It's definitely not. I can tell you that's a fact. There's so many different, your co-workers, family, friends, neighbors, your clients and consumers and customers that come out and patronize your business, at whether it be at markets, events, craft shows and fairs, or your brick and mortar store. They're watching, you guys. Your customers are watching, okay? And so are small children. So let's put forth correct information. We can keep everybody safe. First things first. When you get your Lye from your supplier, you guys, make sure that you put it someplace safe, preferably in a locked cabinet someplace, or at the very least, if you don't have a locked cabinet, put it in some type of a room that has a lock on the door that nobody else but you can get in. Keep it in an airtight container, watertight container with a really hard plastic lid that's not breakable. Mark it clearly as poison, because that's what it is. Caustic soda, it's a hazmat. Okay, so you need to mark that clearly as a poison and keep that out of reach of children, pets, anybody else that may have access to that Lye that may potentially be harmed if they come in contact with that and they don't know how to handle Lye properly. So it's also a good idea to have first aid measures in place. Right next to your Lye, I have a printed out sheet that tells me exactly what I need to do in the event of an emergency, in the event of an accident. So if that is the case and you're using your Lye and you have an accident, clearly you need to remove all of your equipment, your gear, your clothing, anything that was touched and affected by the Lye. Remove that immediately and start flushing with water, Your eyes, your skin, rinse your mouth if you happen to get some in your mouth. Just flush with water. Please, you guys, also no vinegar, okay? Don't do that. Please don't try to neutralize the lye solution that you have come in contact with vinegar. Water, water, water. That's it, and that's all. Look at your manufacturer's recommendation for what to do in the event of an emergency, in the event of some type of an accident. Again, I already mentioned it before, but please make sure that you wear your goggles, protect your eyes, or a full face mask, that's fine too. Put on a mask because there are fumes that come out of the lye. You don't want to inhale that, okay? You're going to have difficulty breathing. Gloves, long sleeves, long pants, closed-toed shoes. And it's always a good idea to put a hairnet on whenever we're making anything that we're selling to somebody else. Wear your hairnet. That has nothing to do with Lye Safety. That's just good manufacturing practices. So make sure you have all of these things in place. Make sure you have, you know, a phone next to your workstation. Like I have my phone directly on Creation Station. It's right there, right next to Creation Station. God forbid I should ever have any type of a problem. There's the phone, call 911, get my butt to the emergency room immediately, seek medical attention immediately. So listen, again, you guys, I'm not trying to be any type of a scaremonger or make you guys, oh my God, I'm petrified of touching lye. You don't need to be, just respect it. And when you're working with lye, you guys, always, always, always add the lye to the water. Never, ever, ever the other way around. God forbid something happened in your facility, your home, your business, wherever it is that you have your lye. Let's say a fire breaks out. God forbid. Let's say that happens. You have to call the fire department. You need to let them know that there's lye on the premises so that when they come in with their hose and they're squirting their water everywhere, they need to know that there's lye someplace, because that's going to cause a whole nother slew of problems for them, okay? So when you are making your soap, always add your lye to your water, even if you're using ice as your water, or aloe juice, or coffee, or wine, or beer. Doesn't matter what your liquid is, that's not the point. The point is lye to liquid, not the other way around, okay? That's it, you guys. We're going to get right over to Creation Station and we're going to start making some boozy bubbles. Want to come with me? All right, let's go. Okay, friends, we are over here at Creation Station and we're going to get rolling with making some of our boozy bubbles. I have 6 different scents in my boozy bubble collection, 4 of which contain wine, 1 of which contains a beer that is made here locally, and the other is going to be a Kentucky bourbon. So the 4 that I am doing in wine are as follows. We're going to be doing a Merlot, and we are pairing that with the Merlot wine fragrance from Crafter's Choice. And by the way, you guys, just purchase the cheapest bottle of wine that you can. This was, I think this one was $6.99 for the Merlot. And then we're going to continue on, probably not on video, but we're going to continue on and we're going to make a Cabernet Sauvignon. And we're going to pair that with the Cabernet from Crafter's Choice. This was only $5. This bottle of wine was only $5. Next in our line, we're going to be doing a Chardonnay, and we're going to be pairing that with a Chardonnay fragrance oil from Crafter's Choice. Again, this was only $5 for the bottle of wine. And then the most expensive one was the Prosecco, because it's a sparkling wine. So we're going to be doing White Peach Prosecco, and this is just a very small little bottle. This was the most expensive one, but even at that, I believe this was only $7 for this bottle. So get yourself the cheapest stuff that you can. Don't buy good wine, you guys. Not to put in soap. You know, there's not going to be really a whole lot of benefit in the soap as far as the wine is concerned, because we're going to go and we're going to boil that down, and then we're going to freeze it. So really what's left is sugars, really. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and get started from start to scratch. Here we go today. Normally I would have everything already done, boiled, frozen, melted out, lye added, that solution is all ready to go. My oils are melted and ready to go, but we're just going to start because we're talking about Lye Safety. So we're going to start from, you know, Jump Street, and we're going to walk you through the entire situation. All right, so the first wine that we're going to make today, the rest I'm not going to do on camera, but we're going to do this one together on camera today. So we're going to do the Cabernet. So let's crack this open and we're going to turn on our scale. And we're going to measure out however much we need, which in my case is 17.15 on the water. So we're replacing 100% of the water with wine. I'm going to put in an ounce more, maybe even 2 ounces, just to be safe. I think I'll do the 2 ounces for evaporation purposes. Once I start boiling this, I'm not going to wind up with the same amount that I'm putting in here right now. So I'm going to, instead of the 17.15, I'm going to do 19.15. All right. Smells good. No drinking, you guys. All right, go ahead. If you're over 21, you can, but no drinking while we're making soap. Okay, so we have everything measured out here. So the next thing is we're gonna go over to the stove and we're gonna boil this for 15 minutes and we'll come back when we're done with that. All right, guys, we went ahead and boiled down our wine for 15 minutes and then we took it off the burner and let it cool down just a little bit. It's still steaming because it's still hot. So we don't really need to measure right now how much this is going to come out to be, but I'm going to go ahead and start pouring into our ice molds, and then we're going to go ahead and freeze this. All right, so right there, that's 9.1 ounces right there. And that completely filled up that tray. Now remember, I need 17.15 ounces, and so I can already tell this is not going to be enough. So that's with all of the evaporation that occurred while we were boiling things down. And so you guys saw me measure out 19.15 ounces, and right now, after boiling out the alcohol, I am left with 13.6 ounces, which is fine. So once I get these frozen and then we unmold them and go to mix our lye solution, I'm going to put the remainder of what's missing. I'm just going to put that as distilled water. I'm not going to go ahead and reboil more of the wine right now. I didn't realize it was going to evaporate that much. That's a significant amount. You know, I put in 19.15 ounces and I'm left with 13.6 ounces. So that's a significant amount that has been boiled off and evaporated out. So we're just going to go ahead and pop these into the freezer. This should probably take, I would say, roughly half an hour, 40 minutes maybe, to turn these into ice cubes, and then we will continue on from there. Be right back. Okay, so I've taken the wine ice cubes out of the freezer. It was taking way too long for my liking for those to actually turn into ice cubes. And just for the sake of time, I need to get going. This is quite cool. Now you're gonna see in just a moment, once we start adding our lye, you're gonna see the fumes starting to come up. So before we do that though, I already measured everything out into the bowl, the wine portion. And so we started out with 19.15 ounces. I need 17.15 ounces for the batch that I am making today. And this wine, after evaporation loss, came out to 12.6 ounces. So I need to add 4.55 ounces of water to make up the difference. So we're going to use some distilled water. And we're just going to add 4.55 ounces. go. If there are kids watching this, please do not try this at all until you're older. And even when you're older, and I'm talking 16, 17, 18 years old, please have parental supervision if you're going to try this. Children, do not try this at home or anywhere else. It's just not safe. Okay, so now that we have our liquid portion ready to go, I have my lye crystals already weighed out, the amount that I'm going to need for this batch. At a minimum, you're going to need the same or equal amount or 50-50 amounts of lye to water. You never ever want to have more lye than you do water. The other way around is completely fine. You can have a lot more water than you do lye, but you have to have at least as much to dissolve all of your lye. We're going to do this a little bit at a time. Before we do that, we're going to put our goggles on for safety. I already have my long sleeves. I already have my gloves. Let me get this out of the way for a minute. Hike my leg up here. You guys can see I have my long pants on. I just threw those right over my shorts. So we're going to get going optimally, you guys. Now these are decent glasses. They have a little side plastic piece right here, you know, for side coverage. Optimally, what you would want to have are nice glasses that have a foam rubber going all the way around the glass part, so that that can kind of provide a little bit of a suction against your skin and a tight seal to really protect your eyes. But these are perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with these. So you're going to put these on right now. I'm also going to put my mask on around my mouth. I always have my mask here. I don't know if you guys can see it. I always have my mask just hanging around my neck because I never know what direction production is going to go for the day. So because of the fact that there's going to be fumes coming up off of here, I'm going to put my mask on right now. All right, and now we're ready to go. I've got everything in place. All my safety procedures are ready to go, and we're going to slowly add our lye solution, and you guys will be able to see the fumes coming up off of here. It's not going to be a lot like normal because this is very, very cold liquid, but you are going to see some. So we're just going to do a little bit at a time. And we'll stir. This is a stainless steel slotted spoon. You don't want to use aluminum because the lye will corrode that. And I can already see, just from the teeny tiny little bit that we added, that the color of this liquid has changed. It's now like almost like a dark greenish color. I can smell the fumes, so it's a good thing that I have my mask on. You want to be careful when you're stirring. You don't want to be vigorous. You don't want splashing. And if you feel down on the bottom, you can feel it getting warmer. That's the reaction taking place, the lye with the water. It's starting to heat up. And that's why we do a little bit at a time. We don't just dump the entire container in there. We could have a bubble over. I don't know if you guys saw that down in there. There's a little clump of lye. It kind of formed together and formed a little bit of a clumpy ball until I started mixing it around. Now the liquid is turning like a dark, deep, kind of a brownish mauve color. And again, I can feel the heat coming off of this. I can definitely smell the fumes even though I have my mask on. And I can feel that this is getting very, very, very hot. So after I get done mixing this, I already have my oils ready to go. But after I get done mixing this, I'm going to set this aside for a good half an hour and let this start cooling down until it gets below 120 degrees. You can see the different colors changing. They're continuing to change. And this is getting very, very hot and frothy and bubbly. That's how hot this mixture gets, you guys. Again, it's no joke. We're not playing around here, you know. You need to be careful. You need to have your safety equipment on. Don't be afraid of sodium hydroxide. Show it the respect that it deserves, and it will treat you kindly. I'm just kind of tilting the bowl and I'm scooping down towards the bottom, and I'm looking at my slotted spoon. Are there any big, huge crystals that are still down there that I need to continue to stir and continue to dissolve? There are not. So I'm feeling confident that this is ready to go, and we are just going to let this sit here, like I said, for a good half an hour. Could be more, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But we need this to be below 120. So let's see what it's reading at right now. All right, right now it's 181. We need this to get below 120 before we can combine that with our oils to make soap. I may even need to reheat my oils. They're at 114 right now, which is optimal. I could start soaping right now if this was cool and down to temp, but it's not. So we're just going to leave this off to the side by itself. We're going to move these oils out of the way the other direction. We're going to take this empty container away from the station and go and wash it immediately right now so that there's no lye crystals anywhere. I am the only one who works in the facility, so I feel confident that I can put it off to the side on my table, and I know that no one is going to bother it because no one is ever here. I'm the only one. If you have small children, pets, other adults, customers, what have you, please put the lye up out of the way where nobody can reach it, break it, tip it over, spill it, splash it, anything like that. Just get it completely out of the way. But for right now, I'm going to go and wash this up. We're going to let that lye solution cool down, and we'll come back and start mixing up. Stay tuned. Okay, y'all, we finally got everybody down to temperatures that we can work with. We got the lye solution with the wine down to 119. And then our oils are reading around 111. So it's slightly less than a 10-degree difference, and that's perfectly fine. As long as everybody is below 120, I'm cool with that. I'm going to give a little bit of a stir here to my fragrance oil, which is the Cabernet Sauvignon fragrance oil. I have mixed that with 1.5 tablespoons of French pink clay, and that is all. I am not adding any other additional colors to the batch because the wine is going to color it a certain color on its own. Now the fragrance oil, according to the notes up on the website from Wholesale Supplies Plus, says no discoloration, no ricing, no separation. Hold please, let me just check on that. Hold. Okay, I have my notes here from Wholesale Supplies Plus. So let's see, we are doing the Cabernet today. There is no discoloration. None of the fragrances that I purchased from them for my Boozy Bubble collection, none of them rice or separate or accelerate. A couple of them will discolor slight yellow or a light type of yellow, which would be the white peach Prosecco and the Merlot. But the Chardonnay is no discoloration and the Cabernet is no discoloration. Not that we're going to know really, because like I said, the wine is going to impart some of its own color. So we're going to put our goggles back on. We still have all of our safety measures in place, and we're just going to get right to this. All right, lye solution into the pool. Very carefully and slowly. A lot of people will do it on their spatula. Some people will do it on their stick blender. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It just depends. I just go very slowly, you guys. That's all. Just to try to minimize any air bubbles that get down into your soap bowl. Also for splashing, we don't want any splashing. That's why we're not just going to dump this in all in one fell swoop. this is just going to be a very, very simple, I'm not coloring anything else with this. Whatever it imparts is what it imparts, and we're just going to go from there. Let's give this a buzz. And then on the top, I'm going to be piping a couple of vines and some leaves. And that's it, you guys. That's all. Alright, we're going to go ahead and stop right now because it's already getting very, very thick, and I haven't even added the fragrance yet. Although, as I just said, I looked up on the website before I even purchased any of this because I didn't want things that were going to accelerate. I'm just going to grab a bigger whiskey, or a bigger spatula, you guys. You can see how thick this is. Really, really, really thick and gloppy already. And that's from the heat of everything, and it's also from the sugars in the alcohol, even though we boiled it, and so, you know, a lot of the alcohol is gone, the majority of the alcohol is gone, but what's left? Sugar. You know, and sugar absolutely does accelerate your batches. So it's probably advisable, if you guys are going to be doing a wine soap, it's probably advisable for you to use the most water that you can in there. You know, don't take any discounts. Use the full water amount. This is really, really thick and gloppy, but I don't want, you know what I mean, at this point, it might have been false trace, you know, so I'm hoping that we're not going to have any separation later. Yeah, this is starting to actually gel on the bottom, so let me get this into the mold really quickly because it's already starting to gel up on me. Beautiful, beautiful color though. I'm really pleased with this color. Outstanding color. And this smells really, really nice, you guys. I mean, it smells like a wine. Absolutely does. And I can feel the heat coming off of this. So these are the things that we need to all, you know, keep in mind when we're soaping. These things all play a part. Even when it comes to safety measures. You know, the heat plays a part. All right, hold on, you guys. As you can see, this is really thick, so I'm going to have to smack it down. And I'm not liking that the top is still lumpy, so I'm going to go ahead and try to smooth this out a little bit with my spatula. And then I'll go ahead and give it another smack down, because then we have piping to do. We have to get some leaves and some stems on there. Vines, rather, not stems. And as I just scraped that off of my spatula with my gloved finger, I can definitely feel the heat, for sure. You guys, give me one more moment. I'm going to go smack this down again. Alright, there we go. Let's clean up a couple of these edges if we can, just a little bit to help with cleanup tomorrow when we go to unmold and cut everything. Whoop. It's very late in the afternoon here because I've had to wait so long for, you know, the wine to get cold enough so that I could put the lye solution in there, and then I had to wait long enough for the lye solution to cool down so that I could start soaping. So it's very, very late in the afternoon here. I should have been gone. Well, actually, it's only 4:15. For me, that's really late in the afternoon. I would have already been all cleaned up by now, and I would have already left at 4 o'clock because that's just what I do. Okay, faux pas on my part, you guys. So I can't actually do the piping right now. You want to know why? I didn't save any batter for it. I'm so focused on getting this part done, and I've waited so long for everything to get to a point where I can do it, you know, what I needed to do. I completely forgot to put some batter aside so that I could pipe some leaves and some vines. I already had everything all set over here, ready to go. My piping bag, my tip, my color for my leaves already set aside. So what's going to have to happen is that's going to have to get done tomorrow. Will it stick to it? Don't really know. If it doesn't, that's quite all right. I kind of have a backup in that I purchased this mold. I don't even know. Several weeks ago I purchased this mold. It's a whole bunch of different wine bottles and a little cluster of grapes, specifically for this selection of soaps that I'm doing for this event in October. So, you know, if I try to go tomorrow and make a small little 4 ounces of some batter so that I can go ahead and do the piping, and if it doesn't stick, I can always just make some melt and pour soaps out of this mold, and then adhere them to the top of all of these soaps with some clear melt and pour. It's not a problem. You always got to have a backup plan, you guys. Plan B, always. So for today, I guess that's going to do it. I'm not even going to insulate this because I feel like it's going to be hot enough that I don't need to insulate this for it to, you know, start going through the gel phase. I think it's going to do that on its own without any help from me. So stay tuned, you guys. We will be back tomorrow. We will unmold this, and we'll see if we can go ahead and get some piping to stick on the top. And if not, we'll go to plan B. Not a big deal. But I hope that you guys learned something today as far as Lye Safety is concerned. That was my main focus in today's video. It really wasn't even so much getting the soap done. It was Lye Safety. Very important. If you are a minor, if you are under the age of 18, please do not try to make cold process soap at all. If you are getting into the 16, 17, 18-year-old age and you definitely do want to try making cold process soap, please do so with parental supervision. And please, please, I implore you to use all of your safety measures that you have been taught and that we've been talking about on this channel and many other channels that you guys can find all over YouTube about Lye Safety. Very important. Okay, you guys? Have a wonderful rest of your day, and until we get back together again, be kind, stay humble, and we will see you soon. Take care of yourselves.